Thank you for your attendance and attention. We're scheduled to finish by 7:30. I'm doing the best I can. There's nothing wrong with a short meeting, but we want to cover important ground today. Give everybody a fair opportunity to speak. I ask that you be respectful of all the candidates, whether you agree with them or not. And bear in mind that they're interviewing for a job, and a job that doesn't pay very well. I don't think any of them are in it for the money. They're here because they want their hometown of Centreville to prosper. I know most of the candidates, consider them to be friends, and I'm sure most of you do too. So let's have a productive forum. This event is sponsored by the Bill Boys and the Centreville Press. We certainly want to thank them for taking the initiative to put this program together. I'm going to go over the rules with you, if you don't have them, so that everybody will know what we're doing. We're going to ask each candidate to introduce themselves, make a brief opening statement about their candidacy. There'll be a limit of 3 minutes for each candidate. I'm going then to ask some prepared questions. We'll start with the council candidates, and then when we finish the council, we'll move to the mayor candidates. Again, 3 minute limit for candidates. If a candidate chooses to rebut the response of the candidate in their race, then they do so. They'll have 2 minutes to respond. They may be able to do that in their own time, but that's the rule going by. You were given a flyer when you came in for audience questions. If you have questions, you write that out. Give those to Mr. Hobson or Ms. Hamrick, and they'll make sure it's something I can read and understand before we ask those. Questions will be from voters of Centreville only. Again, 3 minute limit for each answer. I'm going to ask the candidates to make an opening statement. Then a closing statement. They'll be limited to 3 minutes on that. We have a timekeeper, Farrah. She is in charge of time. When she says time, your time's up. As you know, there are 3 contested district races for city council. In District 2, Don Mack, the incumbent, and Chris Garrett. In District 3, Linda Lawrence, the incumbent, Forrest Murphy, and Reese Lee. In District 4, Diane Epperson, the incumbent, and Roxy Shuttlesworth. The candidates for District 3 have elected to participate and answer questions. But I think Mr. Mack and Ms. Epperson are here. Anyone move to the mayor's race will be Mike Oakley and Mary Coon. So, we're going to start with you folks that are here. Ms. Linda, I had you listed first, so if you would like to make an opening statement, grab that microphone and tell us what you'd like to say.
Hello everyone, my name is Linda Lawrence. I'm running for re-election in District 3. And Davis and I have lived on Riverside Drive for 49.5 years. We have 2 kids, Carrie and Brian, and we're blessed with 7 grandkids, aging from 24 to 7 years old. I worked for H&R Block for 25 plus years in customer service management. And I also have a shaved ice business and ice cream concession trailer that I've done for the last 29 years. So, okay, what I wanted to add was, my vision for the city is that all of us come together and try to overcome the hurdles that we're facing. There are several hurdles that all of us have to overcome. But if all of us work together, we can make it happen. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Jay. Gray Mazda RX 350 has their lights on.
Green Mazda RX 350, that's the lights on. Mr. Lee, since you are next in line, I'll let you go ahead.
All right. Good evening. My name is Reese Lee. I'm running for the office of City Council District 3. I grew up in Helena, which is about a 35-minute ride northeast of here. But we have deep family ties to Bibb County. If you sit here in a crowd and you have the last name of Woods, Thompson, Gunky, White, Bradley, Bondman, odds are somewhere down that line we're in. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a Christian, a husband, a father, a Marine, and a nurse. I graduated from Pelham High School in 2000 and left for Paris Island that following February 2001. I was serving in the Marine Corps Anti-Terrorism Unit the day 9/11 happened. I had just hit the Marine Corps combat jackpot. I joined the Marines because I wanted to fight for people that could not fight for themselves, and I did. I was wounded in the Battle of Fallujah in Iraq in November of 2004, where I was awarded the Navy Accommodation Medal with Combat Valor and a Perk Park recipient. After some healing and a lot of praying, I had my next task. I wanted to help people who could not help themselves. So I became a nurse. I knew nothing about nursing, but I was not afraid to learn. I knew how to read. They were going to give me books. I could figure it out from there. After 14 years of nursing experience, earning the Days Award for Nursing Excellence, and running multiple ICU units, I've never stopped learning. When I train people, I have a little speech that I still like to give them. I can teach you the drips and the medications and the ventilators and the ECMO and the balloon pumps. But what I cannot teach you is how to love people. If you can teach somebody, if you can make somebody feel loved when they're hurting the most, that is what a nurse is. Now I'm facing my biggest challenge ever, raising a family full of girls. I've got a 3.5-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and another one on the way in October. Best part about this is I get to complete this challenge with my best friend, Lisa Lee. She's a family physician here in town. Living in a household full of women, when I say I'm not afraid of things, I mean it. How does this qualify me to be up here for City Council? As a husband, I'm a protector. As a father, I'm a role model. As a nurse, I'm a problem solver. And as a Marine, I'm driven to win. And you will not outwork me. All these qualities I offer you for free, if you elect me to be your voice for District 3. Thank you.
You'll pass that down with Mark Farland.
Hi, my name is Forrest Murphy. I'm a co-owner of several businesses in our community: Alabama Advantage, the commercial billboard company, and the adventure shows, the Guide and Achievement Company on Colorado River. I'm a graduate of Bibb County High School, a lifelong resident of Bibb County, and a resident of Centreville for the past 30 years. I love to serve our town. Thank you.
All right, we'll look at the questions for these council candidates, and I'm just going the same order. Ms. Hodges, what do you see as the role and responsibility of a council person?
When you decide to take on the council position, when you decide to take on a position for the council, you are a voice for the people. You oversee their monies to make sure it's the wants, not the wants, but the needs of the people in place of the wants of what's going on. And also, sometimes we have to ask hard questions. Like overnight, for example, I brought up a question that I was at rest, and they wanted an answer to. some of it wasn't. But it was my duty to, ask the question, because the people will come back and they will ask you, what did you find out? So, accountability is so, to me, it's so genuine for being a councilman. You have to make a lot of hard decisions. So, that's all I
Same question, the role and responsibility of the council.
A city councilman, first and foremost, should be a representative. You represent your district at city level. You're the voice of how your tax dollars are spent, and mine. You're a problem solver. And you must also be a team player. You have to be able to work with the mayor, your other council members, so your city as a whole will benefit. Your role as a representative of Centreville, it doesn't stop at the city lines. Your character and actions outside of the city limits reflect upon Centreville, and you should be held to a higher standard. That's all I have.
As a council member, I want to serve as the voice of District 3 in our city's government, to listen, advocate, and make sure the needs of our people come first. It's about setting policies to improve our daily life and working to build a city where families, businesses, and neighborhoods can thrive.
The next question is, what challenges or problems, what are the challenges and problems the city's facing, and how do you get that?
Okay, let's see. The council must be provided adequate financial information in order to make sound financial decisions with our taxpayers' dollars. This requires an accurate budget with balance sheets on all accounts.
All right, here we go. The biggest problem I see as an outsider looking in, I'm a citizen looking in at this, and there's a lot of me personality in our city council. We have city council members that would rather spend money paving their roads and giving themselves raises for their upcoming terms than help fund emergency services like fire and police. My sign says it all. Lead by example. We will do it for free. I plan to use my salary as city council to give back to the city for these essential services. While that may not be a large sum of money, every little bit counts. As I'm sure there will be a rebuttal to this, I've printed out the minutes from the city council for January 7th, 2005, were regarding the pay raises, and I have the receipts for a road payment on 1 Riverside Drive. Whoever you elect as city council, these are documents that are public knowledge. All you have to do is go get them and hold everybody accountable. This is your money.
Okay.
I still have time left.
Yeah.
I also have copies of that, and if anybody wants to see it afterwards, I'll have it.
Okay, referring to Riverside Drive, that was not done right. It's in the minutes. We only asked for the front part of the street to be paved. My husband and I were camping. When we come home, they had started at the end of the street. And I called our mayor, and I said, what is going on? And I also told them that it would not do any good to pave the front of the street unless they fix the drainage on the street. So, you know, Mr. Lee is insinuating that me being a council member, that I got my street paved, and that is untrue.
Our biggest challenges are growth and lack of tax base and trust. I work to make sure growth is managed responsibly. Infrastructure is prioritized, and the city government is working for these degrees for success.
And the last question for this time for the council members on, what are your thoughts about working with the mayor to solve problems?
We need to all get together piggyback on sound financial footing. We also need to see that our streets are well maintained with adequate drainage. We have a huge drainage problem in Main Street and several parts of the city that has not been addressed. We also should work together with the police department to ensure our citizens and schools have adequate and safe places to work and live.
The mayor and the city council must be able to work together to solve problems. It has to, it's a team. It is human nature to disagree sometimes, as I'm sure, we all do. But that's okay. That's how we grow as people. But what we need to do, and we need to have conversations that include, why do you feel that way? I'm going to explain why this is how I see the problem. To do this should always be asked. Discussion so that we can find common ground. Each side must be respectful when doing this, so that we can find ways to fix issues respectfully and efficiently. As a Marine and a nurse, I've had to work with personalities on both sides of the extreme end of this spectrum. I'm not afraid of this challenge.
I believe working with the mayor, collaboration is key. Even when we disagree, I'll work with the mayor and fellow council members respectfully, because the focus must always be on solutions, not politics. We are a team and cannot be successful if we do not work together. We will not agree on every decision or problem or solution that is presented to us, and that is okay. Along with every other city council member and the mayor, we each bring a set of unique skills, experiences, and knowledge to the table. And that is something to be valued and not despised. Thank you.
We're going to move to the mayor's raise now. We have all these questions we're going to ask for y'all. It also gives y'all a chance to make a closing statement in tonight. All right. This is y'all's opportunity to make your opening statement. Mike, you're in first. So.
All right. First of all, thank everybody for being here. Government at the local level is the most important level of government that any of us can be involved with. And civic-minded people, people that are interested in what their town and areas do, make the wheels turn. Everybody here knows me. I have over 30 years of civic involvement. You see me at meetings, you see me at ball games, you see me at city projects and events for over 30 years. I was elected during COVID. Talk about a challenge. Nothing was going on. Our offices were closed a combined month and a half because of different people having COVID during that time. You talk about navigating, microphone went off. You talk about navigating tough waters, that was it. Within 2 months of being elected, I negotiated a $2.5 million loan for water and sewer projects. We had 2 massive fires, biggest in Centreville's history, that I helped steer the community through. We had a devastating tornado that tore half of Centreville apart. I represented the city with class and character to every major news outlet. 11 o'clock at night, I was out there with the Weather Channel. It wasn't fun. It was not a fun job to be involved with. It was not a fun project to be involved with. But I had to do it. That was what I was elected to. It's part of the job. The weather camera that gives us untold exposure that you cannot buy, that was me and Josh Lambert. And a connection with the Channel 6 weather folks that I have established contact with over the years. The abandoned homes and businesses that we have all become accustomed to seeing over the years, most of them are gone due to our cleanup campaign. You have but to drive through town to see the work that Main Street, the single most important thing that Centreville may have ever done, is doing through our town. And that's going to continue down through 4 Points, from uptown to downtown, all the way out to 82. We got a $900,000 grant to improve the exit and entrance to the city of Centreville that will forever change people's perception of our town. That's powerful. The only thing lacking that starting is engineering projects and studies that they have to do because it's a government contract. The work we've done, I'm proud of. I mentioned Main Street. It's literally the single most important thing that we've ever done. If I'm elected, I'll continue the progress we've made, and there's no denying the progress we've made over the past 5 years. We've made more progress in the last 5 years than the city of Centreville has made in probably 50 years. There's no way to deny that. You have but to drive through and look at the things that are going on and the businesses that are calling us, and people are saying, wow, what have y'all got going on in Centreville? Top 25 place to retire in the state. Thank y'all.
Good evening. My name is Barry Cooner, and I would like to thank the Bill Voice / Centreville Press for allowing us to come in and share our views and visions for what we have in store for the city of Centreville. Just a little bit about my background. I'm married to Kayla Tucker Cooner. She is the circuit clerk. We've been married for 27 years. We have 3 children, 3 grandchildren. I am a graduate of the University of Alabama with a BS in geology and mineral engineering. I am recently retired from Stella Jones. I was an environmental health and safety director for 20 plus years. When I retired, I was the corporate director for multiple facilities. Before that, I was in grocery retail business. I was in store management for most of 10 years. I know what it is to work against a financial statement, whether we have budgets that you're against and you're required to meet the standards of it. I'm kind of basing my campaign on honesty, transparency, and integrity. These are 3 qualities that the city needs. Transparency is probably the biggest one because each of you citizens out there needs to know what's going on in the city. And to be transparent, we need to have the things available to you. So if I'm elected, you will see things available to the community. You'll see financial statements posted on the website. You'll see different things that you need to know about will be on the website. We'll keep those things updated. There's 2 parts to being a mayor. One is public relations, and the other one is making sure that your money's spent right. And those are 2 qualities that you have to have. You can't have one or the other. You have to have them both. And in my eyes, that's what you'll get if I'm elected mayor of Centreville. It's just an honor to be here tonight and have the privilege. And I'm currently on the water board, so I do have civic background. I've been presidents of booster clubs. I've been to numerous ball games. That's all I've done all my life is chase the ball. So I've been in multiple things. All right, thank you.
All right, we're going to move to the questions for the mayoral candidates. This question may partially been answered in the opening statement, but the first question is, why are you the most qualified candidate for mayor of Centreville?
Well, let me do this before I mess up. I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. I'm the most qualified candidate for mayor because I have the experience, skills, and passion to make our city better. I've worked hard to understand our community's needs like safer neighborhoods, better schools, and better roads. I've also led projects that brought improvements to our city, like fixing roads and supporting local businesses. I know how to bring people together. I'm a relationship builder. I'm a consensus builder. I've got over 30 years of that in my history that's proven success. I can solve problems and help decisions and make everyone. More importantly, I care deeply about our city and want it to be a place where people can live, work, worship, and raise their families. Thank you.
Why do I feel like I'm qualified to be mayor? I've had multiple years of experience in business. And business, we have to make sure our taxpayers' money is spent properly. We have to make sure that we balance the books. And with those qualifications that I've been in business, I can do that. I can make sure that we can balance what's coming in to what's going out. So in saying that, I do have qualifications to be mayor. I just hope that that I can be able to take my experience in business and transfer it to being the mayor. Thank you.
What are the biggest challenges that the city is facing? How are you going to work to resolve those problems or face those problems?
Thank you, sir. Our city is facing big challenges, like making sure everyone feels safe, improving our schools, and creating more jobs. Another challenge is fixing things like roads and parks to make our city a better place to live. If I'm reelected, I'll work hard to bring people together to solve these problems. I'll listen to the community. We work with experts and make smart decisions to use our city's monies wisely. For example, I'll focus more on hiring police officers for public safety. We've done a good job of that, supporting our teachers in our community and schools through growing businesses and retail taxes, which directly affect our schools. I spent 23 years on the school board here, dedicating a lot of time and effort to making our schools a better place for our children to be educated, because education is the key to everything we do in a community. My goal is to make our city a place where everybody is proud to live and be from.
To me, the biggest challenge that we're facing in the city of Centreville is going to be financial. Our revenues are down, our expenditures are up, and until we're able to balance what's coming in to what's going out, we're going to be in the red. So financially is going to be a big challenge. But also we've got some other challenges that we've got to face. We've got to put in some checks and balances. We've got to strive to have a financial audit that can be signed off on by the auditor. We can't have one that is not signed because we have no documentation, no receipts. We've got to produce a monthly financial statement for the city council so the budget can be amended when needed. And we're in a small community, and our revenue, it fluctuates. So sometimes you've got to amend the budget. If it's revenue's dropping, so you have to cut your expenditures. I will continue to support Main Street. It's a great idea, and it's making our city beautiful. But one of the biggest things that is the police and fire department. We really need to upgrade our fire department. I will continue to support the police department because citizen safety is number one. We do need to improve road conditions when budget allows. And one of my biggest things is, and I know a lot of people have been watching online or Facebook, we got to be transparent with the city council. We got to develop a trust so that we can move the city forward. We got to strive to get grant money grant money in a small community goes a long way. We can't not have grant money. And there's a lot of things as far as we have to avoid late penalties, tax liens. These things are that money that we spend on these that we could be putting into fire equipment, police department. These are things that we've got to look at in the future. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Let me make this clear. The balances are the same as last year. Expenditures are not up. They're within the budget that the city council voted on. Have we had issues? There is absolutely no doubt. A budget and an audit, the audit is a look back at last year. At last year, we have made organizational changes that have already transformed that process for the coming year. So to say that we're in financial straits is very dishonest. I just want to say that right now, get that out of the way, because that's been a recurring theme. We're about the same as last year. Every year, this time of year, it's public record. You can look it up. Expenditures are not up. They're within the budget. Thank you.
Can I rebut that?
I don't think you'll probably get it covered in your. Split question, a little bit different question for each of the counties. For the incumbent, list of accomplishments during your term in office that you think have had the greatest effect on the city.
During my time as mayor, I've worked very hard to make this city better. Some of the accomplishments I'm most proud of, including not only our roads and sidewalks, which have made it easier and safer to people to get around, we've also brought new businesses to the city, creating more jobs and opportunities for our entire community. I've worked hard to improve public safety through grants. In fact, when we get this $15,000 grant that we received last week from RC&D, that will make our total of about $40,000 in grants for public safety and community development over the past 4 years. We've also made upgrades to all of our public spaces, giving families more places to enjoy. These all make Centreville safer and a better place to be. We've cleaned up our cities. As I mentioned, the abandoned homes are gone. That $900,000 grant that you will see put in motion in the coming month, hopefully, as soon as the engineers get through, are going to totally transform our city. Thank you. Not to mention Main Street.
Very good question, a little different. List of goals you'll set out to achieve during your term of office.
Which I covered some of those just a minute ago. You know, and I'm going to stay on the financials tonight a lot and I'm going to rebut on some of that just a minute ago. In the city council meeting Tuesday night, the mayor pro tem said we're in financial trouble. That was one of his last statements. So we can sugarcoat it, whatever. We got struggles. I mean, whether I'm mayor or who, we're going to struggle. But we've got to make sure that we're spending your money the correct way, no wasteful money. And you know, we talk about cutting out waste. I go back and we look at the speed bump that we put uptown that we had to remove. That was $5,000 somewhere that we lost over that. Anybody that's been down to by the firehouse, you see a road that was put in. We paid $27,000 and it goes to nowhere. We're working on a software deal, and this is your taxpayers' money. We spent $80,000+ on software to operate the city. We had to trash can it and go back to the old software. Now we're looking at another $90,000 bill that's come in on it. So this is some of the things. I'm going to cut wasteful spending. But going back to the grant money, also, no, we do not get all the grant money that we could, and I'll leave it at that.
And I know y'all have both touched on this, and you may want to touch on some more. The next question is your thoughts about budgets and financial management of city finances.
Absolutely. It's a little known fact that the city council's main responsibility is financial oversight. The city clerk is the CFO, the chief financial officer for the city. The city clerk is hired by the city council and reports to the city council. We work together to make things happen, but that's written into law. The mayor cannot reconcile bank statements. The mayor does not pay payroll taxes. The mayor does not print out a financial statement. Now, I go in every day and say, where are we? What are we looking like? And I get a report from the city clerk that gives me an idea where we are that day, specific day. But as far as having your hands in financial matters, our auditor told us the other night that not one mayor in this state has their hands in financials because that is a dangerous precedent to set. What a mayor does do is you think of the big picture. You recruit industry, people, retail. You represent the city at functions, at organizations, at conferences, and with the news media. You establish important contacts with elected officials and news media to enhance the visibility and the viability of your city. And I've done that without fail for 30 years. So that's one of the things that's kind of a fallacy. If you're looking to improve, reach your hand in financial matters, then run for city clerk. But the mayor does the big picture things. The city clerk handles financial matters. And as I've mentioned, while the audit was going on, the audit was a look at the year past. We've already made organizational statements. We're light years ahead of where we were and moving in the right direction.
Going back, recommendations are made by the auditor at the close or during the audit process. We had the water board audit, and the last question that I asked, I said, Don Wallace, has any of these recommendations for the last previous years been taken care of? His answer, no. That's on videotape. So, financials, I'm not getting involved in, but I'm going to know about it. I'm going to know the state of the financials for the city. If the numbers should be walking around numbers that you should be familiar with every day. I'm not suggesting that I'm going to run in and reconcile bank statements, but I will know the numbers.
Change gears a little bit. Your thoughts on annexing additional property into the city? Kind of changes, but it doesn't, because it's all related.
It's all related. Well, we had a kind of an embarrassing thing happen a couple of meetings ago. We failed to annex somebody that went through the proper channels and asked to be annexed into the city, and it would have enhanced and increased our footprint in the city. That's another matter. Annexing property into the city is a good thing if it can help Centreville grow in the right way. Years ago, before the bypass was built, there was woods those of us who remember right beyond the Highway 25 bridge, where now 82 and 25 intersect, was literally just woods. The city limit stopped just beyond that. Now 82 bypass, that we used to call it, now 382, it went all the way out to where the road goes into the Antioch Road. That was fine and dandy for that time. Now we're left out in the cold as far as grabbing any opportunity to help property owners along the new 82 to get any kind of revenue. For example, if a Love's Truck Stops comes and says, hey, we're interested in your area, and y'all, we've had interest in our area, we would immediately talk to one of the landowners and go, just want you to know that Love's Truck Stop has called us and are interested in possibly locating here. You've got property along 82. It's in your hands now. We'll help you however you want us to help you. We can do tax abatements. We can do incentives. And by the way, we've got an unbelievable economic development director, Brian Hilson, who we by miraculous way, we got him from Pensacola, Northwest Florida, economic development director. And he is a phenomenal force of nature with deep contacts that will continue to help us. So annexing into our area, that we've got to annex part of 82 so we can grow that way. It's important that we be ready for it. And we've talked about this off and on. In fact, I think some of the ones that have been on the council for longer than the last 5 years can tell you that they talked about this probably 7, 8 years ago. We got to be prepared for it. We got to have a good plan to take care of the people and the businesses already in the city, while also welcoming new areas into our community. And sometimes it's a delicate walk to do that because people's property is their property. And we would never be the heavy hand of government to go in and say, we need your property to do this. That's going to be up to them.
As far as annexation for the city, we have land available already. We need to get those, we need to get some type of entity in those areas before, and I'm not against annexation, but we have land that's available now that's sitting wide open that we need something on. And that would be one of my goals if I become mayor, is start getting businesses in. We need a grocery store, we need a hotel, we could use a car wash. There's different things that could go out on 82 that we need to get in right now. So am I against annexation? No, but we need to take care of what we got now. We got land available that we could fill up. Thank you.
Your thoughts about how the city generates revenue that can be used to operate the city.
Y'all know we don't have a big retail base here in Centreville. Boy, sometimes, not that I wish we were Brent, but it would sure be nice to have Walmart and 2 grocery stores that generate an enormous amount of revenue for their city. So we're limited unless we can get more in. Generating revenue or money for the city is important to keep things running. Y'all all know that it pays for police, our volunteer firefighters, and it helps schools and fixing roads. Centreville can grow its revenues by supporting our local businesses and attracting new ones. When businesses succeed, they create jobs and bring in more money through taxes. I'll continue to look for grants and funding from the state and federal government to help with big projects. Y'all, we're such a small office that when we get a grant, I'm the grant writer. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. And so, you know, I've worked hard to get grants. Some of them are just too big for us to attain. And we've reached out through our water department and sewer department. We've got a grant writer, and she's done a pretty good job of finding funds for us to research and development and continual maintenance, which you would not believe how important that is. We continue to find smart ways to bring in more money without putting too much burden on the people that live here. So far, for example, we've garnered about $1 million in grants that help our city: water and sewer, transportation alternatives, RC&D, and more. So I'll continue to do that. Talking about a hotel, we've had 2 hotels approach us. It's not a secret. We worked together to pay for a feasibility study for the first one that came back and said that, by gosh, y'all do have the traffic enough for a hotel. Y'all know we're the only game in town basically between Prattville and Tuscaloosa. And all of you have seen the traffic for ball games, through this area. And it is so important for us to develop plans to get them off of 82 into the city of Centreville, into our retail areas, and help our existing businesses. And that's what we'll continue to do.
Revenue is going to continue to be an issue until we grow. And growing means we've got to attract new businesses, whether it's small, large. If you take a lot of small business, they add up to be a large business at some point in time as far as the revenue. So revenue is hard to come by right now. We've got to continue to grow. We need industry. We need retail. Retail can't get here fast enough for us to get revenue. Like lodging tax. Lodging tax coming off the motel, that's big. Anybody that stays at a hotel, motel, that lodging tax is most likely money that's coming from outside that we will be able to generate. Also, going back, we kind of touched on grants just a little bit. Grants are very important. We cannot sacrifice not getting grants, but we have in the past. My understanding is that the storm shelter, we could have got a grant for it, and it was bypassed. So just little things like that, that all adds up because we need every penny in this community and city. Thank you.
Y'all have both hit on this, but anything else that y'all want to cover regarding economic growth, business improvement, or industry development?
One thing we did, we all worked together to get something called a flock camera, F-L-O-C-K. Initially for public safety, what it does, it identifies anything like an Amber Alert or stolen car or whatever, and it can literally pinpoint it in a second. In fact, we had a stolen car sighted at the intersection of 82 and the Shell intersection. By the time they got from the Shell station to the Taco Bell traffic light, 8 police cars surrounded them and 2 sheriff's cars. That's how quick it works. That's great. But an additional benefit that we got from those flock cameras is a traffic count. We can literally claim 80,000 cars coming through our area per month. Now, this can give you repeats and it can give you new cars. It can give you information on where those cars come from by reading tags. And I know that's a little bit of George Orwell 1984 thinking, but it's important to us because a traffic count puts us on new maps as far as hotels and revenue, and yes, even truck stops. So when we go with people with that information, it is vitally important that we can say, hey, we're not just a pass-through town anymore. We've got literally thousands of cars going through our area per month. So that's important. Economic growth, bringing in new businesses and developing industries are vitally important to our area. When we grow our economy, it's no secret that we grow opportunities and jobs for people in our communities. The mayor and council work with consultants to find the best ways to develop our city. By working with experts, we can attract the right kinds of businesses and industries that will help us thrive. I would continue to focus on making our city a place where businesses want to come by improving our roads, public safety, and community spaces. We're going to grow in a way that benefits everyone.
Economic growth is pivotal to our city. We have to work, as a mayor, you have to work with your city council. The city council and the mayor is the face of the city. They're the ones that going to deal with economic growth. They're the ones that's going to meet with the new businesses. So we have to be hand in hand with that. Economic growth, just in the past few months since I've decided to run for mayor, I've had two gentlemen come to me about grocery store and a hotel. And the thing is, we're going to offer, if I'm elected, we're going to offer tax incentives. It may be tiered where first year is this much, next year it goes down a little bit, and give them a tier, especially to businesses that we don't have. So economic growth, a lot of it depends on whether the city is able to give the tax incentives. And we're building for the future. When you give tax incentives, you're not building for today, you're building for the future. Thank you.
Now, if y'all would talk to us about managing the different city departments, police, fire, street, judicial, water department.
Effectively managing city departments is essential to ensure that Centreville operates smoothly and meets the needs of its residents. Each department, whether it's police, streets, judicial, or water, plays a critical role in maintaining the quality of life in our community. We're lucky to have an assistant water superintendent who's here tonight, Nick Henry. We got him from Pelham. I mean, that's a catch. And he likes it because of the area, he likes it because of the rural places we are, and he likes it because as a member of the water board here, water authority, water and sewer board here, he can genuinely talk to his citizens and get their feedback on things they need. As mayor, I prioritize strong leadership within each department by hiring qualified individuals and providing them with the resources and support they need to succeed. We have regular communication and collaboration between departments, and would also be the key to addressing challenges is improving efficiency. For example, the police department needs proper funding and training to ensure public safety, while the water department must maintain high standards for clean and reliable water services. My goal is to continue to create a culture of accountability and teamwork across all of our departments, ensuring they work together to serve the people effectively and responsibly.
As mayor, you have the police department, which you're over, you have the streets and sanitation, you have the water department, and that is big responsibilities, big shoes. And Mike is correct. You put the best people in the best positions, and that will create success. We do have issues that we have to face as far as funding. Funding is tough for the city. I know the city council, they went back and forth to whether to put on another police in this past city council meeting. It's tough. I mean, it's really tough. My support is for the police department 110%. Managing it, have nothing to do with it other than weekly we would have staff meetings to cover what we need to look at during the upcoming week, whether it's challenges or positives or whatever it is. But I need to be in tune with what's going on, and the only way to do it is to have staff meetings with each department head, and where if I'm asked a question, I know the answer. Thank you.
We asked the council candidates about working with the mayor, so we're going to have some mayor candidates. We talked about working with the city council and the water and sewer board.
Collaboration with the City Council and the Water and Sewer Board is vital for making decisions that benefit the entire community. As mayor, I focus on building strong relationships and partnerships and open communication that we all work toward the same goals. My approach includes open communication. We will continue regular meetings and transparent discussions to ensure everyone is informed and aligned on key issues and projects. Teamwork and respect, valuing the expertise and input of council members and board members to make well-rounded decisions for the city, and that's a two-way street. Strategic planning, working together to create long-term plans for infrastructure, economic growth, and public services that meet the needs of Centreville citizens. Problem solving, addressing challenges such as water and sewer improvements with ever-escalating cost, with a collaborative mindset to find practical and cost-effective solutions.
Working with the city council and the water board, the mayor is responsible to aid the city council, and the city council is like the checks and balances on, and the water board is like the checks and balances on you. So it's imperative that we have a working relationship. We have to develop trust. We have to develop transparency. We have to be honest. Those are things that working with the city council is big to me. The city council, we have to be in unity. There's no I in teamwork. And we have to work together. We're not going to agree all the time, but we're going to come to the best conclusion for the city. Thank you.
All right, guys, tell us the hardest part of being the mayor.
How much time do you have? Folks, I'm a part-time mayor. In a city of our size, I'm only required to give 13 hours a week to the job. Working with city councils, mayors, elected officials during my 20 years with Alabama Power in governmental relations, it's quick. You can quickly find out that don't get it. We're competing for the same grants, the same money that Walt Maddox in Tuscaloosa is competing for. It's unbelievable that's the truth, but it is. And I believe in being accountable. I've got 4 or 5 generations of family that have committed their lives to public service. My great-grandfather was a depot manager. My grandfather was a mayor from the 50s to the 70s. My dad ran the newspaper and was one of the most respected citizens in the state of Alabama. So I grew up in a culture of giving, in a culture of serving, selfless service. And Reese mentioned it before. I was also served nearly 40 years in the military. When you serve something bigger than yourself, you learn to operate in a culture of selfless service. Has it meant sacrifice to my family sometimes? Sadly, yes. But when you raise your hand to commit yourself to public service, you know that that's part of the job. It's part of the job. Y'all average probably 35 hours a week going into the office. And here's the funny thing. When I ran for mayor, I didn't know the mayor had a salary. It's about $20,000. I thought we just got paid mileage when we went to a meeting or whatever. I was thrilled to learn about it when Mayor Morton said, you're going to get a little bump. But that's not the important part of being a mayor at all. The hardest part about being a mayor in Centreville is there's never enough funding to solve all the problems we have. Every day I see the needs of our community, whether it's fixing roads, improving our schools areas, or providing better service for children and senior citizens. And I wish we had the resources to do it all. It is a constant challenge to prioritize where the limited budget should go while trying to make the biggest impact. There are also sleepless nights, and my wife can attest to this, thinking about how to help the most vulnerable in our community. As a parent and grandparent, I worry about the children who need safe places to play and learn. And we've done a good job of putting up caution children playing signs in neighborhoods. And yes, we've also put some speed bumps in areas where we've been asked to help with public safety. I worry about not only them to learn and play, the seniors who deserve better care and support. And we're lucky to have Bibb Medical Center and Cahaba Medical Center here that has literally placed us on the map as the strategic center of rural health care, not only in the Southeast, y'all, but probably in the nation. I carry the weight of all of these concerns, but it also drives me to work harder, to find creative solutions and fight for every opportunity to make Centreville a better place for everyone.
So what is the hardest thing about being mayor? I'm going to go back and review this very tough. It's always going to be a challenge. But I'm going to go back to making sure every penny is spent the right way. It is a part-time job. It's part-time pay with a full-time job. I take pride in everything I do, whether it's from cutting grass to cleaning a vehicle, anything that I do, I take pride in. And I'm going to do the same thing with the city of Centreville if I'm elected. I'm going to take pride. I'm going to make sure that what money we've got will be spent to the fullest. Thank you.
In the beginning, all of the questions, we're going to ask now. Before I want to, I missed earlier, I didn't recognize Roxy Shuttleworth, who's also running for District 4 Council. Didn't mean to be, she's successful.
I think you've already seen those, but that's all we got.
Okay. First question is for the mayoral candidates. And y'all probably answered this, but I'll give you another shot at it too. What are your qualifications for mayor and what are your plans for the city? And while you're doing that, let's just let you do it both. And what's your vision for the city of Centreville for the next 4 years? Y'all touched on it, but no politician wants to miss a good free shot.
Did you say what are our qualifications?
Yeah, qualifications and your vision. How about that?
All right. As I said, for 30 years, I've worked hard to establish relationships and contacts that continue to help us to this day. My vision for Centreville and the next phase of our strategic plan that the City Council and all of us work together to vote on is to have the next phase is going to be welcoming signs, signage, and what's called wayfaring. The next phase, we will not miss any opportunity for somebody to come into our city and go past Centreville without knowing that, hey, I'm in Centreville, Alabama. I'm proud of Centreville. My gosh, I mean, I'm from here. I grew up here. You know, I took hard lessons from here and had a great upbringing in a city that is welcoming and forgiving of youthful mistakes. Not that I made a lot. I was a regular kid around here. But, you know, growing up in Centreville, it gives you a way better opportunity to develop your leadership skills. And I used to tell this at Alabama Power a lot. The kids from bigger schools had a harder time developing their own leadership persona because they didn't have the opportunities to participate in athletics because there were so many people trying out for those sports. So many people trying out for band, so many people trying out for dance or theater or speech. You know, here you have the ability to do every single thing you can to enhance and make the most of your natural ability to be a leader. And not everybody can be a leader. We need good followers too. And let me tell you this, one of my famous quotes from a famous military general: rank or position is not given you, is given you to better serve those above and below you, not to practice your idiosyncrasies. And I carry that with me every day of my life and every day of my service life. My vision for Centreville in 4 years is to expand businesses along the 82 corridor, to have welcoming signs that are the envy of all the towns around us, and to welcome people in here to a thriving metropolis, a rural metropolis with premier health care and everything that goes with that.
My vision for Centreville. We have one of the best rural hospitals in the state of Alabama. We need to use that as a tool to expand and use it to draw businesses. The hospitals, most rural hospitals now are closing, we're thriving. And you have to give credit to the leadership at Bibb Medical Center for what they're doing. But another vision for mine is to make sure that our citizens are safe every night. And and that's hard. At being mayor, that's one of the toughest things is to lay down at night and know that you're responsible for the safety of every citizen in the city of Centreville. And so, in saying that, my vision is to make sure that we have a safe community. Another vision that I have is to make sure that we have enough funds to cover things that we need, not want. And we have to continue to expand our revenue sources. But the revenue, until we grow it, it's going to be tight. So, one of my visions is just to make sure that we have enough money to make sure we take care of our needs, such as fire equipment, police equipment, things of that nature. And police and fire is always going to be number one to me. Thank you.
That's all our prepared questions. Would you folks like to make any closing statements? If so,
I would. I don't need it.
go ahead.
I appreciate everyone coming tonight. And I appreciate y'all wanting to know, trying to find out what's been going on. And I would appreciate your vote to put me back in on the council, because I know I have tried my best to make the right decisions with what I have been given. And also, I would like for all y'all to know also that I also sit on the water board. And I have never used my position on the council or the water board for any special thing. And I resent the fact that that was brought up about the street being paid. I had nothing to do with that. Only the front part was supposed to be paid for the drainage. So thank you again for listening.
Can you hear me? Well, I was not born here in Centreville. My family's been here since my great-great-great-grandparents, Judge and Maggie Thompson. My grandmother worked at Bibb Medical Center, and she owned a feed seat over in Brent. I've got memories of running around that store and waiting on the train to come by, and they would stop and let me ride across it. I also have memories of riding around in Kay Collins convertible with my Aunt Brenda through the fields. Memories like that, childhood memories like that, is what made it easy to come back to Centreville. And call it a place home. Now, while I can't choose where I was born, I can choose where I live and where I raised my family, and I chose Centreville. There's a reason a lot of you people in this room don't know who I am. One, because we do not answer doors when strangers knock, because I've been knocking. And the other reason is I don't do stuff for recognition either. I'm the guy that sits in the back of church and listens, and that if there's a problem, I'll come and I'll try and help it. But standing up here, you know, there's a popular saying, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. You see where we're at, Centreville. Do you want 4 more years of this? What I bring to the table is common sense, integrity, leadership, and a work ethic that is unmatched. If you're ready for a change, I urge you to give me a chance next Tuesday. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight, and God bless you.
I'm not a politician. I feel like it's a civic duty to serve our city council. In closing, I'd like to have the opportunity to serve as District 3 in the city of Centreville. I'd like to see whoever wins this race promote an equal playing field for businesses, businessmen and businesswomen in our community. Over the last 17 years of taking customers who visit our business on Cotton River, these 3 questions are asked over and over. Where is there to stay? Where is there to eat? And what else is there to do in Centreville? I'm limited on things to tell them. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage all our residents to take a chance, open a business in our town. I will keep promoting business to move in our area regardless if I'm elected. Capitalism is founded on an open level playing field and survival of the fittest. We have to quit trying to pick and choose winners in our town. Thank you.
Us. Tell you a quick story about how experience, contacts, and friendships over the years have made a difference already in Centreville. Y'all all know that we've got 2 beautiful hospitals and a healthcare authority, Cahaba Medical and Bibb Medical. And I work closely with Joseph Marchant, John Waits, and Lacey Smith, doctors John Waits and Lacey Smith, to make positive things happen. I'll tell you an important story. I'm good friends with the director of the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs. John Waits and Lacey Smith have made a model of health care that is trying to be replicated throughout the United States. We got 12 satellite offices based out of here. They don't have to have their headquarters here. They do not have to have their headquarters here. They like Centreville, they like Bibb County, but they could go up toward Fairfield, up toward Birmingham, where a large majority of their patients are. We went down to the ADECA offices 2 years ago, and I said, we've got 2 doctors here that have got an unbelievable, they gave the presentation that is mind-boggling. If you hadn't seen it, you need to go ask them to show it to you, of their modernistic, futuristic headquarters that will be built here in Centreville, Alabama. The first thing the ADECA director said was, would $1.5 million help you? And they said, that would probably help us a lot. That was happened on the basis of years of friendships, years of contacts, and years of relationship building. Well, I'm a member of Economic Development Association of Alabama. I'm a member of the Alabama Development Office. And I'm also a member of the Association of Regional Councils, which is the parent organization for RC&D, Resource Conservation and Development, that has helped us so much with grants and things that have already enhanced and improved our city. So you don't think experience matters? You don't think relationships matter? Long-term relationships, they do matter, and they have mattered, and they have helped. I like to say this, that it's literally the single most honor in my life to have been elected mayor of Centreville. I didn't do it for personal glory. I did it because I have gifts and I have contacts that help the city that I grew up in and I love. And my wife, who's not from here, she loves. She knows more people, I think, than I do. It's amazing. She's a nurse, and probably a majority of y'all in here have looked up when you're at your worst hour and seen her. And because I get calls all the time and going, thank God your wife was there when I came out of surgery or when I came into the emergency room. Happens all the time. So we're dedicated to making our place a better place for everybody. Everybody. And I continue to promise to do that every day that I'm elected mayor of Centreville, Alabama. Thank y'all so much.
Before I give a closing statement, I just want everybody in here to understand what it's like to run a public office in a small town. This has been one of the hardest challenges I've ever seen. When you know everybody in a small town and you're trying to ask them for their vote, it's hard. When they know both candidates, it's very, very hard. So until you've been in our shoes, this is this is a tough thing to do, I promise you. But hopefully, it's going to be rewarding to one of us. In closing, I would like to say thank you to the citizens of Centreville for allowing me this opportunity. I would say to the citizens of Centreville that if elected, I will be honest and transparent. This is as much about you, the taxpayers, as it is about me. I have the knowledge, education, and business experience to lead and ensure your tax dollars are being spent efficiently and effectively. You, the taxpayer, have the right to know where and how your tax dollars are being spent and should always have the confidence that it is not being wasted. If elected, I am accountable to you, the taxpayer. I will take full responsibility as mayor of all actions, whether good or bad. The buck will stop with me if elected. Our success will only be shaped in part by my perseverance, hard work, embracing challenges, and bouncing back from setbacks. Centreville should thrive, not survive. Thank you.
We appreciate y'all coming out tonight. I think we ought to thank these folks that are running to put themselves out there. I think they're all good folks, and I think Centreville will be well represented and served, no matter who's elected. For us old timers, where are the cakes from? All the young folks don't know about political outlets.
Lynn was supposed to bring a cake.
Anyway, I want to thank y'all for being here, participating, and that's it, folks. We got after about 7 things.
Good job, man.
Thanks, Jack.